a product has graced my desk. My inbox, let's say. It's not graced my desk yet. But I thought we'd have a quick chat about it because it does look extremely interesting. And it's called the Third Eye from a company called INNOVV. They typically make dash cams for bikes. So you can install like a front and rear facing camera and then wire it into the bike's battery. And it's constantly recording. So if you have an accident or whatever, then you've got footage. So that can help you with any court issues or legalities.
Sure.
And, they're great products. They come with like, a microphone and a GPS unit and a remote that goes on your bars. So they definitely know what they're doing there. But this product, the Third Eye, well, I think there's a couple of different incarnations of how it warns you. But one is like a little watch face that goes on your dash and it'll tell you if anyone's in your blind spot, or you can put something onto the mirrors as well. That'll flash basically. Incredible, right? That like you would assume that this has to be built into the bike at the factory. But I think it's quite exciting to see that this technology, although it's never going to be plugged in, I assume plugged into the cruise control system because that's like so ingrained in the bike, to be able to get the blind spot warnings, I think is quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how it sort of integrates and how it looks. Does it look like a kind of bolt-on part that's incongruous to the rest of your bike, or is it something that blends in quite nicely?
It looks like I don't know, how would you describe that size? It's smaller than a digestive biscuit, I think. It might be sort of
good descriptive term, yeah.
Jaffa cake diameter.
Right.
Or what is that for our international
Jaffa
audience?
cake.
I think most of our viewers are in the UK, or listeners rather, but for the US, it's probably Oreo
like
sized.
A ginger nut. Oreo, yes.
Ginger nut, that is the most British of biscuits.
It's very international.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. Like Oreo sized, yeah, that's very international. Everyone knows.
I think it's about that size in diameter.
And that's the radar on the back. And then the, what do you call them? The actual like indicator type things. Are they...
Yeah, I think it's just like an LED that you can put on your mirrors, or like I say, there's a similar Jaffa cake sized device that goes on. You can just adhere it.
Oh, the clock face you're saying, yes.
Yeah, and it's just a little diagram of the bike with a car either side, and one will light up. But I think the reason they did the mirrors is because you're normally looking at your mirrors when you're looking to move. So.
And based on like both of our experience taking out the Triumph Tiger 1200, I think we both said that it was one of those gimmicks where you go, oh, don't figure I'm going to use that. Like, I'm not going to miss it. And then you get on, it was the Explorer, isn't it, that's got it in there as standard. And then you go back to one of the ones that doesn't have it because we had both on the day. And you find yourself looking for it because you're like, yeah, I actually did quite like that. It's amazing how quickly you become not reliant upon it, but you start to really appreciate it. And I really did like that. When you see a car, it's for your blind spot, isn't it? Essentially,
yeah, exactly.
That's the only right reason you need it.
And look, you only need one experience where you go, I think it's clear, I'm just about to go. And you might have still seen whatever was coming up, but it's that extra aid where it just says like, actually there's something there, and I mean, it's no replacement for good riding. You should always be shoulder checking and all those things. But as an extra little guide,
yes,
I think it's a great feature. Now they've priced it at just under $300. $300. So $298, I think it says at the moment on the website. It's not out yet, but when it does come in, it feels like quite an accessible price. And I think, the only thing that I would think about fitting it is exactly as you said, which is, does it make my bike look a bit cluttered or unclean? Yes. I think if you're riding like Panigale or a custom Harley, you're probably not going to put it on there. But I think for the dad bikers like yourself and myself,
it's made for the adventure bike for sure, because you don't really notice
it's covered in stuff anyway.
Bolt-ons, exactly, yeah, so it sort of blends in. No, that makes complete sense. I agree. When you've got like a Panigale where every square millimeter of that thing is designed to within an inch of its life. Yeah. Like every different line has been considered. To add your own lines on top of that is sacrilegious almost.
Put a top box on it.
Yeah. I'd love to see a Panigale with a top box. So yeah, it makes sense. It's I agree with you in terms of like it's not a replacement for good riding, obviously, but the way that I used it was I wouldn't even bother looking until that light was off. So the light's on to say there's something there, and I'm like, cool, I'm not going to bother looking to overtake until that light was off, and then I do my lifesaver check and look over my shoulder. But yeah, I was amazed how quickly that just became my norm riding. And I, like I say, it was obvious that was the case, because when I went back on the bike without it, I was like, oh, Yeah, I missed that. So I'd like that. £300.
Well, it's one to keep an eye out for, and it just feels like a significant development in terms of some of those rider aids, like moving away from being manufacturer only. And, quite often you have to pay for the sort of like £2,000 touring package to get some of these features. So it's nice to see there's some competition there to keep the manufacturers honest. And I'll round this off by saying that if you do go to VenturaLuggage.com, you can buy a rear rack and top bag for the Panigale.
Oh my God, excellent. So you're saying that I could use a Panigale as a dad bike?
You potentially could, and I'm going to send you a picture
very
so that you can fully appreciate it in all its glory. And we'll probably have to leave it there. I think we've peaked.
That's a good point. Yeah, that is a peak. Yeah.